Yes, yes, you can put your phone. As long as they are not ringing. Because if it rings, we'll answer. Yes, yeah, that's fine. All right, so just thank you guys for coming. We will give our statement, then we will then open the floor for a few questions. And then after that, I'll introduce my team that I'm seated with, and then we'll be able to answer the questions. After that, we hopefully that this will take us about not more than 30 minutes. Then we've got some hits for you guys, so that I know we approach you during as you to come in lunchtime. So we don't want you to go out hungry. Okay. All right. Let's see the meeting. We're waiting for you.
Ah, thank you.
Okay. How many minutes or seconds should we give you to set?
Count. 3.
As you can see, it's not me. I just got. The Secretary General delayed us by 3 minutes. Aja badara.
Okay. Sanduku badara mungesi.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Sacrifice Chirisa. I'm the Secretary General for the Zimbabwean Medical Association. On my left, we've got Dr. Meki. He's the chairperson of the National Tariff and Liaison Committee. And on my right, we've got Mr. Paulos Mukahiwa. He's the Zimbabwe Medical Association National Manager. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We shall be publishing a press statement and this has been necessitated by a lot of events and things that have been flying in the media. I shall read the statement. Zima would like to put it on record the true position and the state of affairs in the medical fraternity. Zima is saddened by the stray and inflammatory comments made towards its members in the media. We will deal with the topics and we're going to deal with the medical insurance or medical aid. While medical practitioners have not been spared by the current turbulent economic environment, we continue to committedly offer our services. Of note, medical aid societies have not paid for services in full or in time and have got some outstanding claims that they've not paid, backing debt to 2015. Medical aid societies have over 51 reasons not to honor a claim or claim by doctors on their standard operation procedures, making the claims process futile and practically useless in most cases. Medical aid societies are not paying on time and not in full, therefore breaking the law. The Association of Health Funders of Zimbabwe, AFOS, has announced and increased tariffs twice this year. First increase was in February 2019. The second one was in July 2019, but none of its members have complied with this. It was just a statement in the paper, but none of their members have complied with this despite increasing contributions from their members. Medical insurance and medical association are mushrooming everywhere. They are collecting subscriptions from patients and our patients upfront, but they do not pay the service providers. We've also noted that they are top heavy. They are using the funds meant to pay for services for non-member benefits. For example, lavish lifestyles, top of the range vehicle, top of the range offices, leaving our patients, their members, incurring huge shortfalls and even failing to secure services. One of the things is that when the insurer becomes a service provider and directs patients to their own institutions, patients' care outcomes deteriorate, long waiting periods are seen, and this has become a common feature. We, as Zima, feel that this is unethical, anti-competitive, compromising patient outcomes and quality of care. At some medical aid clinics, practitioners are literally forced to clear long queues and are outrageous targets that have been given to our members. For example, a GP or a general practitioner is supposed to see 80 patients per day. This obviously compromises the level of care because your brain cannot contain the level of concentration to see 80 patients in one day. Turning to Premier Service Medical Aid Society, we want to put it to record that Premier Service Medical Society, PISMAS, has not paid, and I repeat, has not paid medical doctors or medical practitioners the whole of this year. 7 months now, from January, February, March, April, we have been seeing their patients, submitting claims, but there have been no payments. And they have also refused to increase the tariffs that have been, those tariff increments that I alluded to, that were proposed and agreed by AFOS, where they are a member. This leaves the subscribers off and our patients in PISMAS with the largest shortfalls and with inability to access services. And why we are saying this, that the utterances by their CEO last week are regrettable, false, and meant to mislead the public. That's why we have come out and put the record straight, that there is no payment. I will turn on now to the competition and tariff Commission, Zima made submissions to the Commission in 2015 to the effect that, number one, insurers should not be involved in service provision. Just like in the motor industry, an insurer cannot be the panel beater. We also said, number two, directing of patients to own clinics is uncompetitive, unethical, and infringes on the rights of patients for freedom of choice. And there are also glaring conflict of interest. However, there has been no meaningful action in response to these pertinent issues. Number three, I'm going to comment on the reports on the conflict of interest and corruption at government institutions. There is an immature document written by the Anti-Corruption Trust of Southern Africa that alleges that practitioners, and quoting a case in point in Masvingo, were diverting medicines, referring patients, and inflating prices and creating artificial shortages of medicines. We want to put it to record that it should be noted that the names of the doctors that this document quotes have been since cleared of all charges. And we want to put to record that Zima and its Zima members pride themselves with the highest level of integrity. It is common knowledge that government doctors in Zimbabwe are the least paid in the region, but continue to offer impeccable, world-class services to our patients. And the case in point is the separation of the conjoined twins done by one of our own in government hospitals. On this background, it is very important to understand that the specialists and the medical practitioners in government are lowly paid, are the least paid. And it should be noted that the government continue to work both in government and in private. In fact, their working in private allows them to actually provide services in government, and thus subsidizing the work that they do in government from their private practice. It should be put on record. The article also does not take into account the acute shortage of skills that is in our country, and fails to recognize the sacrifices that are made by us, Zima, and the few medical practitioners that are in the country, that have stayed in the country and will continue to stay in the country. And we have kept both the government sector functioning and the private sector functioning. What is our call for action? Number one, we call for the finalization and implementation of the Medical Aid Societies Bill that is aimed to ensure comprehensive regularization of health insurance. I want to put it to record that us as medical practitioners, we are regularized, we are monitored, but the medical insurances are hardly monitored at all. Yet they are running almost $1 billion industry with no regulator. We want the regulation bill to be finalized. We want the regulation bill to be implemented. The sooner the better. Zima demands the payment of all outstanding payments to medical practitioners, especially from Premier Medical Aid Society, PISMAS, which has not paid for the past 7 months. Honestly, if you were not paid for 7 months, would you continue going to work? Would you continue giving services? But we have done it. But the CEO goes and attacks us. It's not right. So we are putting a demand on payment in full now. Medical doctors have taken payments in all sorts of ways from medical aid societies. At one time, we took medical payments in form of graveyards. We were paid graves by a medical aid society, paid rates, paid tax off, whatever, but without being paid our money. We have accepted that so that we can continue to offer and service our own, and we will continue to do that. We put a demand that the health insurers or the medical aid societies should disclose to the public, our patients, how much they're spending on on subscriber benefits vis-a-vis their administrative costs, cars, offices, holidays. We also implore that the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission should carry out an audit on all medical aid societies for possible misappropriation of funds. Lastly but not least, we call upon individuals to desist from making insensitive, inaccurate, insulting, unfounded statements aimed at causing anarchy in the medical industry, using facts that are unfounded without even visiting the operations and interviewing the people that are supposed to. We feel that as doctors, for such a long time, we have sacrificed and we continue to sacrifice. We give our people services. There are those who want private services. We give them. And we offer services in the government sector. And we continue to do with the least pay, with the least resources. We have held fort in the most difficult circumstances. But what happens is that we are attacked. We have been quiet, but not anymore. Thank you so much. We'll take some few questions from the floor. Please, when you are asking questions, identify yourself, name and where you are from, and give us your question. No lecturing, please. A question. Thank you. We open the floor to questions. Yes.
Yeah, my name is John Kasim, Channel Africa SABC. I've got two questions. The first question is on the issue of doctor to patient ratio. You were saying that you don't have many doctors locally. How many doctors do we have within your database that you know? And in terms of the ratio with patients, one doctor is supposed to see how many patients? Then the second question is on the issue of the payment that you are complaining. In the event that these medical societies may be piecemeal, if they insist that they're paying and everything is above board, what are you going to do? Are you going to withdraw your services?
Now, we've got about 3,500 doctors registered in the country versus a population of 15 million. Of those, about 1,000 are specialists in various areas. I'll give you a case point where I come from. I'm a psychiatrist, specialist psychiatrist. There are 15 psychiatrists in this nation, which means there's one of me, of us, per every million, which is not possible to then offer the adequate services. So that's why we continue to train. We are on a training drive, recruitment drive, and we hope that these ratios will improve. But definitely, the ratios are very low. But also that the ratios are low because we have failed to retain the skills, or we have failed to attract skills back home. And the few skills that we have need to be nurtured and cared for, or else the ratio will become worse. When it comes to PISMAS, we want to put it on record that PISMAS owes us. The minister knows it, the permanent secretary knows it, the CEO knows it, everybody in PISMAS knows it. So we don't expect any other thinking that comes to that. And we are now saying that they must pay. And look, we have been giving them service for the past 7 months. But we feel that it needs to be sorted. We cannot go on, and we will make a decision when we cross that bridge. Yes?
Tabitha Mtengo from the Financial Cabinet. How much are you owed by Christmas, and the estimated figure? Can you give us that?
The estimated figure is 60 million. Not Zim dollars. It was 60 million, but now, since it was all dollarized in 1:1, that's the figure. That's the figure we are talking about.
That's Christmas only.
Christmas only.
And the rest of the medical aid?
The rest of the medical aids are better. They still owe practitioners. But what has happened is that they are not sticking to the stipulated time of payment. And with the hyperinflation that is happening, if you put a claim today and it's paid after 90 days, we all know that $30, that $40 will not be able to buy. And this is what has happened. And we are saying that let's stick to the agreed timelines of payment. But sure, a timeline which is supposed to be 14 days or a maximum of 40 days of 30 days goes to 7 months. Surely it's unacceptable. Yes.
My name is Lucy. We are senior and freelance journalist. My first question is, what is the normal ratio of doctor-patient under normal circumstances? Then the second one, you say Pismas has not been paying for the last 7 months. What has been the trend like before they started this long period of defaulting? Okay,
I will leave the doctor ratio to be commented by Dr. Meki. I'll comment on the history of not payment. Non-payment has been an ongoing battle. In fact, we have been chasing each other like Tom and Jerry kids, Tom and Jerry for some time now. But we are saying that we cannot continue in the same vein. We now need a workable solution so that we are not always in the media mudslinging one another when it comes to payment. When a service has been offered, let the money be paid. When our same patients go to OK, they pay and they get the services and then they get the goods. Why can it not be so also in medicine? This is the only place in Zimbabwe right now where you get service, then you pay after 7 months. Everywhere else, you pay upfront. For your fuel, you pay upfront. But what we are saying is that we understand that they have to survive. We need the medical insurance industry. But let's stick to agreed units of payment so that you live and we also live, so that we don't have to be chasing and having all these kind of situations that we have now. I'll leave the other comment on the ratios to be commented by Dr. Meki.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Dr. Chirisa. So I think just to clarify, our position is there's a global accepted ratios for Southern Africa. Of course, we know Zimbabwe hasn't met targets, and that's why there is a continuous training, and actually the numbers in the medical school has been increased. But we are referring specifically to where our medical societies run facilities where they see their own patients. So what ends up happening is because there are huge gaps and shortfalls, patients are directed to these institutions because in the vein of their own. And in those instances, you have a practitioner seeing more than 80 patients per day. On average, in normal accepted clinic, you should be seeing average in between, in any 8-hour shift, between 40, average 45 patients to 50 patients. But if one person starts seeing more than 80 patients, it means that there's compromised outcome. It means on average, your consulting time is only 3 minutes. 1 minute for greeting and knowing where you're from. Another meeting of telling you your diagnosis. Another meeting when another minute for telling you when you're going to come back. I mean, that is not acceptable. And we know patients have complained that I hardly could finish what I was supposed to consult on because of time. So we are saying that this is unfair, it's unethical. You are undercutting the patient for the same amount of money, but you are seeing them for less time. The same patient can go and see another practitioner who has got the time. But because you have deliberately decided not to pay the other practitioner, you force that practitioner to turn away the patient because of non-payment services. This is the unethical, unprofessional conduct we are talking about. A patient should choose to go where they want to be seen. A patient cannot wait for 2-3 hours to be attended. Waiting periods at Western Hospital are deplorable and casual. Patient comes at 8 o'clock, only leaves at 4 o'clock. That is unacceptable.
Any questions from this side? If you've got no more questions, we can close. I'll take 2 last questions, one from you and one from this side, and then, okay, we've got a question there. So maybe let's start with you.
Okay, sorry, I arrived a bit late.
Give us your name, which house you're coming from.
I want to know whether his doctors are now comfortable with salary from government. I don't know if they got it.
No, it was not asked, but we are not comfortable with the salaries that the government is currently paying. I don't think there's anybody in Zimbabwe who is comfortable with the salaries that are being paid, both in government or private. And it's something that we're engaging the ministry, and we continue to engage for continued improvement of services. One of the things that we also note is government is trying to come up with innovative ways to keep us, for example, the car loan facility, which we are urging the government not only to focus on the junior doctors, but also to focus on the consultants, because they are offering this in that same environment. So salaries, we are not happy with the salaries. They are the lowest in the region, and we feel that at least a medical doctor is supposed to be paid livable salaries. We are also aware that that's why the government allowed maybe when you are a bit senior to then operate in both government, and, as a way of subsidizing, and allowing you to then reach that threshold for you to live. And it's important for us to know that that's the current situation that is there in Zimbabwe.
What is the kind of average basic salary for junior doctors?
In the region or?
In Zimbabwe.
Okay. Currently, the junior doctors are earning 1,900 as their salary, Zimbabwean dollars. However, this month, they did get a cushioning allowance, one-off of 1,000. So that becomes their, that was their package this month. But we know that that is low if you are given that some of them are having to rent houses and just renting a 2-bedroom house close by, near work or near Paranya going the avenues is almost 200, it's almost 2,500, so that takes away 3/4 of your salary. The fuel to go to work, one full tank is $700 or close to $700, and if you put one full tank and pay your rent, you've got nothing else to then live. So we continue to say that there is need to seriously look at the salaries of the doctors or the medical practitioners, so that we don't continue to have the strikes and all those that we have which has held us all these years. We need to put a stop to it and pay a livable wage that allows somebody to have a decent life. That's what all we are asking for. Yes?
You insisted that you still want to continue offering services, despite the fact that insurers, service providers are not paying you. Now the issue is, I would want to believe that people are running away from the general hospitals, government hospitals, because of lack of services there. Going, that's where now they're also facing problems. The question now is, can you just maybe give us general condition of the government hospitals, general hospitals right now, the current situation in the hospitals? And secondly, on the issue of Christmas, do you feel robbed by the statutory instrument 142, considering that maybe offered services when the rate was still 1:1, you not paid then, and then the money was devalued, and they're still going to be paid the same amount?
I will leave Dr. Meke to comment on the state of the government hospitals. I will comment on the statutory instrument. ZIMA is a law-abiding organization. Once policies are made, we stand behind and support those statements and those policies. So what we are saying is that we were not robbed by the statutory instrument. We were robbed by the medical aid societies who did not pay in the stipulated time. If they had paid what they were supposed to have paid on according to agreed parameters, whether statutory instrument 142 would have come or not, we would still have benefited from our money. So what is causing us to ban is not the statutory, it is the non-payment and continued non-payment of medical societies and delay. And we now start to think that it is deliberate, so that they want us to react, they want us to react, and they want us to visit members, like what you want us to do, today we are not going to see them, so that all the patients can go to them. That's exactly we will be playing the match and according to their line that they actually. So we will consult our members on the way forward, but we will be making resolute, serious, and well united comments forward on how we can deal with errant medical societies who are taking money up front and refusing to pay the service provider.
Would you know if government is still a major shareholder in business?
I will allow Dr. Meki to comment on your initial statement, and that will be your last. Thank you so much.
Right. So just to give you a snippet, because I also offer services in the government as a specialist, we need to actually understand that the current affairs is actually the reverse. The government institutions are actually even overpopulated because people can't afford private care anymore. And the reason why they can't afford private care anymore is because the shortfalls are huge. If you have a medical aid that is not paying you, you cannot allow a patient to come and be treated on their medical aid without paying anything, because you have to cover the gap. And when these shortfalls are being asked, this is what is being claimed as if we are holding people a ransom. But we are just demanding dues according to gazetted tariffs. In actual fact, it should be clear that medical aid societies, most of them have honored a government gazetted law that stipulates the amount of money that a medical aid pays to a practitioner. They've not made that. They've decided to pay their own tariff. That's why we are saying that the regulation body has to come into place and effect these things, because there's no policing in these medical aids. They do what they want, they claim whatever money that they want, and obviously practitioners are left to wallow in poverty and shame.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.